July 20th will, of course, be a very interesting group of fights as Jake Paul will be taking on Platinum Mike Perry. And now, of course, he is taking a whatever, tune up, whatever people want to say, before fighting, well, Mike Tyson. And of course, a lot of people are joking, Iron Mike Tyson couldn't make it, so they had to get Platinum Mike. But anywho, this could very well mean very bad news for Jake Paul, as Michael Perry is a bare knuckle fighting, fighter. I think he's a champion as well, but it doesn't matter. Now, of course, on the card, it is a actually pretty stacked one. Now, of course, they have a rematch that took place on Most Valuable Prospect, which we will unfortunately not be talking about. We'll be talking about the Amanda Serrano fight, the Ashton Silva fight, and the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. And of course, the first one on the list is the, Chavez Jr. fight, as you'll be taking on the former MMA fighter Uriah Hall. Now, of course, Hall is 1-0, that's right, with 0 wins by way of knockout. Of course, his unanimous decision win came over Levon Bell. Now, of course, pretty close fight, I'll say that, even though it was 40-36. If you look at the stats, pretty close. Now, of course, Bell was, of course, going a lot more defense than offense. Of course, where we later see in his future fights, which most likely costed him the victory. Now, of course, he'll be taking on the former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, of course, Chavez Jr. is 53-6 with 1 draw, 34 wins by way of knockout, and 2 losses by way of knockout. He is coming off of a 34-6 fighter unanimous decision win. Pretty one-sided victory. Now, of course, before that, he came off of a very, very weird loss as well. He lost to the 1-1 former MMA champion Anderson Silva. Very weird. Not only that, Chavez Jr. was 184 and Silva was 174. So, yeah. And before that, and the 2, stoppage losses that he had was against 35-3 Daniel Jacobs, and of course the 26-3 Andres Fonfara. Now, of course, before that he lost to Sergio Martinez, which is where he lost the belt. And of course, many people know him for his fight against Canelo Alvarez. But besides that, he will be taking on a MMA fighter, Uriah Hall, which before it was supposed to be Darren Till, which another UFC fighter, but whatever, right? He's coming back, I guess. Who do I got winning this fight? This is a very weird one, considering he lost to Anderson Silva. Anything can happen. 1-0 fighter, he could definitely lose that one. Will he? If we get a focused Chavez Jr. and I guess ready Chavez Jr., he will most likely win by stoppage. Because don't get me wrong, Hall did beat Bell somewhat convincingly. Bell was touching him up. And I get it. Different fighters. Of course, Bell is a former NFL player. Pretty big dude. Chavez Jr. is the former world champion, but back at 160. Now he's like 187, somewhere around there. It doesn't matter. It's weird. It's a coin flip on who do you think is going to win. Hall has basically every chance to secure victory. It's 6 rounds, so if one starts slow, which Hall will not actually, they could take decision. But Chavez Jr. can very well get it done. But I'm not very confident considering, he lost to a 1-1 Anderson Silva. I get it. Silva is technically better than Hall, especially at that point in the career. But, losing to Silva, I don't know. I got Chavez Jr. decision win. Nothing much to it. Hall, he can win. He can win. I don't know what's the odds on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hall is the favorite. No, Chavez Jr. is, the favorite. Very little, though, so obviously people think Hall might get it done, and he might, but I'm just thinking Chavez Jr. might still have enough to beat Hall, especially because it's a completely different type of fighter than Silva. A little bit more, as they say, elusive, as many people would say. So, yeah, I got Chavez Jr. decision win over the 1-0 Uriah Hall. But, hey, he was former world champion. Can't say nothing about that. And, of course, the next fight, Ashton Silva, H2O, will be taking on the 16-0 Lucas Body. Of course, Lucas is 30 years old, and he's 16-0 with 14 wins by way of knockout. Now, of course, you look at his record. Well, not a lot of, well, top tier opponents. But then again, can't say nothing much about that. I think his best win is against the 20-3 Jesus Amparan. And he actually fought for, well, a somewhat world title, IBF North American Lightweight World Championship, which is very good. And of course, Ashton Silva, or H2O, obviously used to be the 100% knockout artist, until he faced Adam Kipenga, where he won unanimous decision. Then later knocked William Silva out, and then beat Esteban Falcao via unanimous decision. Anyway, this brings his new record to 11-0 with 9 wins by way of knockout. Very nice. He is obviously seen as one of the top prospects. Why? Because he is only 20 years old. He's got power, and he somewhat got skill. Now, of course, against the tougher, much more defense-tight opponents, he struggles trying to knock them out, but against other experienced fighters, he got it done. So who do I got winning? It's a very interesting one because Silva also himself has not fought top quality opponents either. Of course, the 13-2, and of course, William Silva definitely gave him, well, a lot of experience. But Lucas has 14 wins by way of knockout. He has an 87% knockout ratio. I get it. You can say they're up against scrubs. Very much, well, could be the case. Considering one of the guys has 12 losses and only 3 by knockout. That is actually very good. He has fought himself a fair share of opponents. He could very well pull the upset. Unfortunately, I don't think it will happen. I think Silva will punish him to the body because he still got power. You know, the 2 went decision, but well, the other ones did not. He's a very good power puncher, obviously. Very good body puncher. But it seems weird because, well, 16-0, 14 wins by way of knockout is a very, very good record. Not something to take lightly. But there's a reason why they're putting him up against Silva, because obviously they think Silva can win. Silva is ranked number 48 in BoxRec, while Body is 39. So there's a very, very, very close and competitive match. Both of them have the power to stop each other. Although I do think Silva has the experience, the amateur pedigree, as one would say, to, well, get it done. But enough of dilly-dallying. I think I have Silva winning by decision. I do think so, because both got power. You know, they're going to try to knock each other out. Both are going to feel each other's power and think, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too aggressive. But then again, it is 10 rounds, so very much, well, could not go the distance. To be honest, I'm going to have to go with Silva. I think his experience, I think he fought the better quality opponents. But at the end of the day, a 16-0 fighter is a 16-0 fighter. You know, he has the confidence. He has the power. He has some opponents as well. Not the best opponents, not as good as Silva, but quality opponents nonetheless. He could very much well ruin the Silva H2O party. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he gets some. I think 5th round stoppage is in order. I think he's gonna go to the body. He can't handle to the body. He stops, and that's it. He wins by knockout. Now, of course, the co-main event: Amanda Serrano, the undisputed, or former undisputed featherweight champion of the world. Now, of course, former because, well, the WBC did not want to sanction the 3-minute rounds, and she said, well, I'm not gonna be the WBC champion anymore. Now, of course, she is taking on Stevie Morgan, 14-1 with 13 wins by way of knockout. She is nicknamed the Sledgehammer. She is not lying. 92% knockout ratio until you see her opponents. Of course, she did lose majority decision to a 21-17 fighter. That's something. But she has fought her fair share of undefeated opponents, like the 6-0 Angie Romero and the 1-0 Juliana and the 2-0 Maori Munoz. Not that bad. Of course, she is coming off of a 6-fight first round TKO streak. Very much a nice, thing, right? But then again, she is fighting the unified champion Amanda Serrano, 46-2 with 1 draw, 30 wins by way of knockout. Now, of course, you look at her past opponents, she has not gotten a knockout since 2021. But of course, although she has not gotten a knockout in quite a bit of time, her power is still very much shown. It's kind of like Canelo. Canelo has not gotten a knockout in since forever, but he is always, or they are always able to use their power to solidify a win. You know, dropping someone like Munguia or hurting people like Ramos and Hardy. So who do I got winning? Very interesting, because she is fighting a 14-1, 13 knockout fighter who has fought, no offense, but pretty trash opponents. I hate saying that, but pretty bad. But she does have somewhat power, but then again, when you fight someone really experienced, obviously like the former Undisputed Champion, the power conveniently disappears, if you get my saying, if you get what I'm saying. The power just, for some reason, just doesn't exist anymore. With that being said, I think Serrano will actually get her first knockout since 2021. Her output, very hard to beat. I don't want to say she outworked Erica Hernandez or Cruz, but she was landing the better of the punches. So, yeah. With that being said, I actually do got her knocking out Morgan in the 9th round. Once again, it's 2-minute rounds this time, so not 3-minute rounds. But that's slightly better. It means you could throw your hands a little bit more, because 1 less minute per round, that is a total of 10 less minutes to fight. So obviously you are more inclined to, well, throw punches. So yeah, I got Amanda Serrano via 9th round stoppage. Morgan got power. Can that change the fight? If she catches Serrano clean on her jaw without her realizing it, yes, it very much well could change the fight. But that's not going to happen, though. Her quality opponents have not prepared her for, well, this moment. I don't think she will be able to catch Serrano clean, or at least as clean as she needs it, to really change the fight. So yeah, Serrano 9th round stoppage gets a knockout win since 2021. A very momentous occasion, as most people would say. But anywho, the main event, what most people are here for, Jake Paul, the problem child, will be taking on Platinum Michael Perry. Now, of course, Mike Perry, aka Platinum, is a 32-year-old, so obviously the youngest fighter he has fought since, well, probably a Nissan Gibb. Oh, okay, my bad, Tommy Fury. But his professional boxing record is 0-1 with 1 loss by way of knockout. That, doesn't seem that good. In the super middleweight division, 167 pounds, he lost in the last round. But the weird thing is, he fought a 6-1 fighter for his debut. Not only that, if you look at his record, 6-1 with 4 wins by way of knockout. He was a power puncher with only 1 loss. And not only that, before that, his first loss before fighting someone like Michael Perry was a 6-1 fighter himself via split decision. I don't know what was going through Mike Perry's head fighting a 6-1 power puncher for his first fight, considering, well, I don't even think he has an amateur background. But anywho, if we go to the bare knuckle side, obviously he's a bare knuckle fighter. He is a undefeated fighter, 6-0 with 3 wins by way of knockout, which is a little weird, right? His first 3 wins were up against some very weird opponents. You see that? Who's that? That is Michael Page. That's right, Michael Venom Page lost to Mike Perry. Weirdly enough, you look at his his boxing, he's a 2-0 fighter with 2 wins by way of knockout. So that is very interesting. And then after that, he has fought Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, and Thiago Alves, all wins by way of stoppage. Those are some good wins. Even though they're older fighters, they are good wins. Especially his last fight was at 184, which means he won't be moving up that much in weight to be fighting, well, Jake Paul. Speaking of Jake Paul, his record is now 9-0. That's right, 9-0 with 6 wins by way of knockout. A very interesting record. Of course, his 1 loss came to the split decision to Tommy Fury. But after that, he came back fighting Nate Diaz via unanimous decision win, and then beat 2 professional boxers, albeit smaller fighters, and kind of coming off of layoffs, especially Ryan Borland. He came off of a 2-year layoff. He won both of them via first round stoppage, which of course, many people say, oh, it's just there for that. He's a 9-0 fighter, or 9-1 fighter, with no amateur experience. They're not going to give him like undefeated 10-0, 9 knockout wins, fought 9 times in a year fighters. No, they're not going to do that. But this will be a very interesting fight because Michael Perry will be the, well, most experienced fighter, if you want to say that. I think the most experienced was Silva because he beat, well, Chavez Jr. And Mike Perry has kind of learned how to start getting stoppages, especially against very, very top quality opponents in bare knuckle. But he will be fighting in boxing. Different style with added protections, as he would say, pillows on his fist, meaning his power might not be there. But it's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds too, so he might get something done. Will he? No. But he very much well could ruin the Mike Tyson fight. He's a very aggressive power puncher, especially because now he has more protection on his hands. He might actually throw harder punches. Or maybe he was already throwing harder punches, but more protection, definitely throwing harder punches. He might cut Paul bad and postpone the Tyson fight again. But like I said, he is slightly the most experienced fighter because I'm not saying Borland or August wasn't there to win, considering they are professional fighters. Fighting Jake Paul, they definitely don't want to lose, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe they weren't 100% fully there for the win. But people before that, obviously, starting with the Tyron Woodley, everyone after wanted to win. Nate Diaz wanted to win. Fury wanted to win. Obviously, he did. Silva wanted to win. Woodley definitely wanted to win. Ben Askren, Nate Robertson, Anisan Gibb, they all wanted to win. Maybe not Ben Askren. A little bit. A little bit. He was kind of old. And also coming off of an injury. So maybe not him. Just like Mike Perry. Mike Perry will definitely go in for the win. He's definitely not going to be taking no knees or anything. Unnecessary knees anyways. But anywho, who I got winning? I think it's going to go decision this time. I don't think he's going to stop Perry. I think he might with an uppercut. But he also might not, considering Perry is very much well aggressive. And when he fought aggressive fighters, like Diaz, maybe even Fury sometimes was explosive with his pressure. Silva as well, he looked very, very awkward in there. Not enough to be able to get his power. Perry might do that. He might pressure him a little too much, and he can't really set his feet and get the knockout. But I got Jake Paul, unanimous decision win over Mike Perry. Hopefully nothing bad happens in the fight, where, well, the Mike Tyson fight has to get postponed. Maybe some people want it, some people don't, whatever. But anywho, hope you enjoy this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I've seen many shots like that, a simple short shot, put the fighter down.